What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show. And y'all, I've been up all morning, all night, all morning. Alright, let's start here. Antonio Gibson. Alright, okay. I'm just going to go ahead and break into it. Antonio Gibson was a bad pick. Let's just be absolutely honest. No matter how y'all guys look at it, no matter how y'all figure it out, he was a very bad pick. And I'm going to explain why. One, you got to understand something. When you normally pick guys, especially high in the third round, they're normally guys that can be something to your team. Or it makes sense for the guy to be in the scheme of things. But for some reason, this guy makes no sense. Like, early on, everybody was talking about Ron Rivera is creating competition. He's creating competition. He's creating competition. And this guy, who does this guy compete with? He's a running back / wide receiver who wasn't even the man at Memphis. Like, this guy, like, cause when they said his name, when they said Antonio Gibson, I think they said running back from Memphis or wide receiver from Memphis, one of the two. I was like, wait a minute. I remember watching a Memphis game. It was the first game of the season. Their first game, it was against Ole Miss. And I said, I don't remember this guy. I said, running back, that makes no sense because their running back is supposed to be the guy, Patrick Taylor, who was projected to come out the year before, but he went back to school. And I said, but they also got a backup running back called Greenwell or something like that. So all of a sudden, I just said, you know what, John, go back. Let's watch all the film. Let's see what he did. Let's see what's going on. I went back and watched the Ole Miss game, and I said, I do remember that game. He never showed up in that game. As in, he was on the field for one play, and that was a kick return. He was never in that game. He wasn't even the man at Memphis. The man at Memphis is the wide receiver Coxie. And then the other guys are the running backs, Greenwell and Patrick Taylor. These were the guys. Then, not only that, it's not like he wasn't even the first guy when it came to kick returns because it was a guy, Pop Williams, was the man. So it blows my mind that, one, the Redskins took Antonio Gibson so early, especially when you had so much talent available to you still in the third round. I mean, Julian Blackmon was taken in the third round. Devin Asiasi was snatched up in the third round. Adam Troutman was snatched up in the third round. Trey Phillips was snatched up in the third round. Who else? The wide receiver Edwards, he was snatched up in the third round. Zach Moss was snatched up in the third round. All after our picks. All after our picks. And to me, if Ron Rivera was creating competition, who is supposed to be this guy's competition? Because currently on our team, every player on our team, even should it be wide receiver or running back, they're better than him. And that's just what it is. We can't go around it. Let's talk about that. If Ron Rivera is creating competition, who is this guy really competing against when he wasn't even the man in Memphis? He was like the third or fourth option at Memphis. In reality, I don't even think he was the third option in Memphis. He played, but he was good against certain teams. He was good against teams like Tulsa. He was good against teams like SMU. He was good against teams like South Florida. He was good against teams like that. But when it came time to see teams that could really play, he never showed up. He never showed up in the thing. Not only that, he's a poor pass blocker. He's a very poor pass blocker. He doesn't get open because he might be fast because Memphis runs this crazy spread offense. But their guy is Coxie. Coxie is the man down at Memphis. And when you got that type of guy, that type of threat, along with these running back threats that and Taylor, who I think got hurt, and then another guy, Greenwell, who was like a running back / receiver type thing. Then they had all these other wide receivers. This guy, it makes no, he wasn't the man at Memphis. Steven Sims Jr. was the man at Kansas, which makes sense. Terry McLaurin wasn't the man, but he was somebody that was vital to Ohio State. Same thing applied to Kelvin Harmon. He was the man. There's no way Antonio Gibson is going to compete with either one of those three. Now let's go to running back. He's not competing against Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson far exceeds this guy. He's not even competing against Darius Geis, and Darius Geis is injured all the time. And Bryce Love, I don't see him competing against Bryce Love. To me, this was a waste of a draft pick, especially when you had so many other guys available on the board at this time. Now, I will say this. This will be a disastrous draft if Cincinnati takes Sadiq Charles with their first pick in the 4th round. Because the Redskins would have missed out on every great player there was. Now, it's sad because I started to actually think, was Bruce Allen and Doug Williams actually the guys that were actually doing the smart thing in the draft? And that's a scary thing to feel and understand when you see Kyle Smith and Ron Rivera agree to take Antonio Gibson. It makes no sense. You had guys available on the board and you took a guy who wasn't even the best player on his own team in Memphis. Like, I don't understand that at all. And there's no way anybody's going to have me believe that there were other general managers that were picking that thought that Antonio Gibson, that you could even imagine Antonio Gibson having a high 3rd round grade on him. There's no way. There's no way. Is he fast? Yes, but he was fast against teams that may not even have NFL caliber players on them. Those are the teams. When they went up against Ole Miss, understand, Ole Miss is a team that lost all their threats in the draft last year. They lost all their guys last year. And they struggled against them. He did not show up in that game. He didn't show up in that game at all. Then they went against Temple, again, a team that has some good players, but not a lot. They lost against them. He didn't do much in that game. Then let's go to the Penn State game at the Cotton Bowl. He had like 2 plays in that whole game. 2 plays in that whole game. Yeah, this I don't get it. I just don't get it. You know, it's okay taking. I saw somebody sit up here and say that he might be the next Percy Harvin. Percy Harvin was the man at Florida. Percy Harvin was absolutely the man at Florida. Percy Harvin did it all at Florida. This guy didn't do that. This guy was not that at Memphis. He was not that. And the fact that you took him high 3rd round, there's no way that any team had this guy graded that high. Julian Blackmon goes after that. Zach Moss goes after that. Devin Asiasi goes after that. Adam Troutman goes after that. Tyree Phillips goes after that. I saw as the Giants our counterparts right up the way here. The Giants get better. I seen the Baltimore Ravens get better. Hell, the Baltimore Ravens took Tyree Phillips, who I said the Redskins should take. Now, I thought he was going to be available in the 4th round, but he isn't. But still, Tyree Phillips, I mean, I can't be. I'm not off. I'm not off. I'm not off. And the fact that we took this guy, to me, tells me that I don't know if Ron Rivera is trying to prove. I don't know if he's trying to prove that he knows what he's looking at, or he's trying to get guys that know the culture. Like, there's no way you're telling me that Antonio Gibson is going to know what culture Ron Rivera brings. I mean, I just don't see it. Another thing I don't want to see is the fact that they force Antonio Gibson so much to try to be something that he's not. And he becomes an even bigger disaster because of the fact that we took him higher than what he should have. I swear to everyone right now, if Devin Asiasi, because I know he's going to be phenomenal because he went to the fucking Patriots, y'all. Adam Troutman went to the fucking New Orleans Saints. Y'all. Tyree Phillips went to the Baltimore Ravens. People, understand this. To me, I feel that there's going to be this force to have Antonio Gibson be something that he's not going to end up being. Was Antonio Gibson brought here to compete against Trey Quinn? I mean, because that's the only person I can see him even coming close to competing against that would make any type of sense. He doesn't play defense. So I just don't, I can't fathom the understanding of what fast is fast, yes. But guess what? Fast is nothing if you can't get out, if you can't get off of press coverage. It's nothing if you can't get off of press coverage. It's nothing if you can't get through the line. And this guy hasn't shown that. I looked at all the games, every last single game, and there's no way. I just, potential, I don't even see the potential. Like, there's something where sometimes you might say, okay, I can see the potential of this guy. I don't even see the potential, people. I don't see the potential of this guy. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And now we go back to now we got to judge Ron Rivera on everything now. I understand that we still got a few rounds to go, but understand this. There were a lot of players that are now gone. There were like 100 players that were top quality players in this draft. And practically all of them are all gone. Practically all of them are gone. And now, like I said, we got to judge Ron Rivera on this at this point now. We got to judge him on the factor of, did he make the correct moves? Like, I mean, let's talk about free agency. I was one of the only people saying the free agency, the signing of the free agency that he didn't make any sense. It didn't make sense to go after Amari Cooper and yet and still not find and not go after something else, because you said you were looking for a veteran receiver. I mean, there were guys that made more sense that would have been way cheaper. Then on defense, the people that they signed on defense, a lot of that didn't make any sense. Now here we are, third round of the draft, and you take Antonio Gibson. Why are we not judging this guy on what he's doing? We're trying to say, everybody say, well, he's trying to fix the culture. He's trying to do this. Marty Schottenheimer didn't even do that. Remember when everybody was complaining about Mike Shanahan? Like, it was like the talk was Russell Okung and Trent Williams. Russell Okung, Trent Williams. Russell Okung, Trent Williams. Trent Williams was still one of the top rated offensive linemen on the board. Not only that, guess what? He's been a far superior player than Russell Okung. Russell Okung has been with multiple teams now. Multiple teams. Trent has only been with us. He's become a butthole now, but he's been with us. Another thing, talking about Trent Williams, another thing. They did not even make a deal on draft day. So guess what? The same issue that Bruce Allen and all them fumbled with is the same thing that happens with them. They fumbled picks and deals. They could have. Now, according to what I'm hearing or what I saw, the Vikings basically cut off the trade talks once they got Ezra Cleveland. They were like, well, we don't need Trent now because we found a guy. Not only that, they just said there's so many teams just set up there and just cut the talks off with him. Now it's talks about the 49ers are talking about it. I told y'all a long time ago, I told y'all several videos ago that we were not going to get probably nothing more for Trent other than maybe a 5th round pick. Because it was just a disaster. The whole thing was a disaster. He has 1 year on this deal. He's asking for more money. Redskins want high picks. It's not going to happen. Y'all, Antonio Gibson was definitely the wrong pick when you had so many guys available on the board. We need to start sitting here paying close attention to what is really being done in Washington and not speculate about culture change and not speculate about competition when yet and still, when you see the players that are coming in can barely compete against the guys we already got here. This has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.